Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan, and today we need to talk about some huge Montreal Canadiens updates regarding Carey Price and him going to the NHL and NHLPA Player Assistance Program. Now, there's been a lot of news recently about Carey Price in the last week, whether it be the injury he's dealt with, whether it be Dominic Ducharme and his comments about him not feeling good whatsoever in the past couple of days, and now we got an official word that Carey Price is taking a leave of absence away from the Montreal Canadiens to start the season, which definitely makes the start of the Habs season much more complicated. But what is truly going on with Carey Price in this situation, and how long will it be out? How will the Montreal Canadiens be able to adapt in goal, and what will the Habs goalie situation look like without Carey Price in net? Watch till the end for all the news and all the latest info, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are new. 60% of people that are watching are not subscribed. If you like hockey, and if you like hockey news, this channel is the place to be. Now, the NHL and NHLPA put out a big statement this morning, basically giving us some details on this situation and also giving us the actual situation at hand. And Marc Bergevin was announced to have a press conference today before this news was announced. People were already saying it was going to be a Jack Eichel trade, but obviously Carey Price and his situation are going to be the vocal points. And in this statement, in this press release by the NHL, they said this: the National Hockey League and the National Hockey Players Association announced today that goalie Carey Price of the Montreal Canadiens will be away from the team while voluntarily taking part in the NHL/NHLPA Player Assistance Program. So there is a lot there that is really crucial and some tiny little details that people might miss. The first thing that struck to me was the voluntary part. This is a decision made by Carey Price for Carey Price and for his health, and we obviously don't know the specifics. I don't think we really need to know the specifics, but it's obvious that Carey Price has needed some help, and he will be hopefully getting it at the NHL and NHLPA Player Assistance Program, but he voluntarily went there, decided to get some help, and that is absolutely amazing. Definitely a courageous first step for whatever he's going through, and I'm really hoping that this is able to work and that Carey Price is hopefully able to be back healthy, whether it be in the NHL or as a person. Anything that's going on, I'm hoping it gets fixed soon, and I'm hoping he's able to be fully recovered and 100% going forward. But I'm also super proud of Carey Price for recognizing the situation, whatever it might be, and voluntarily getting help. That is something that's not easy for anyone, but especially athletes who most of the time have a ton of pride and don't want to say that they're wrong or don't want to say that they're injured. When it comes to Carey Price, especially since it didn't seem like he was at least physically dismantled by any means, he could still play. To go in this program, and especially to not start the season with the Montreal Canadiens, takes some major courage, and I commend him for getting the help that he truly needs. Now, on the other side, for the Montreal Canadiens, this makes a whole a hole, let's be honest, in the Montreal Canadiens nets. And we also saw the Habs claim Samuel Montembeault a couple of days back, and that was kind of in line with the Carey Price injury that was kind of nagging on him, and if we see Montembeault and Jake Allen start the season as the tandem. But it wasn't really projected to be this way. It was projected to be Carey Price maybe missing a week or two to start the season and then being back in net fully recovered. But it's obvious that it's not just the injury, it's something else on top of this that is affecting Carey Price, and obviously at this point the Habs have prepared just a little bit for this situation to arise, with Montembeault being in net now maybe as a backup, and Jake Allen of course being the starter, which makes the Jake Allen trade just that much more complete up to this point. But it is still a big hole for the Montreal Canadiens, especially with how good Carey Price was in the last playoffs. Carey Price not being there is going to be extremely tough for the start of the season, even though regular season wise he hasn't been the greatest over these past couple of years. Now, I actually want to clarify here that Carey Price was actually out for the start of the season because of a non-COVID related illness, so maybe this player assistance program is maybe helping with that perhaps, but it could also be something different, so I don't want to judge nor make any assumptions whatsoever. But when it comes to Carey Price, just as the player himself, it's still bad news not having him for the start of the season if you're the Montreal Canadiens. Not even just because of the player that he can be, but because of the person he can be in that locker room and has been over these past few years. I mean, Carey Price is a leader and a true one. We've seen that over the past few seasons with the Montreal Canadiens, and not having him in the locker room I think is going to be an even bigger loss than not having him between the pipes. That to me is a humongous difference for the Montreal Canadiens' mood in that locker room. And although I think Jake Allen is also a good leader and Montembeault can be an NHL goaltender perhaps, it definitely leaves a big leadership and also play hole still in that pipe in the pipes for the Montreal Montreal Canadiens, and it leaves a lot less confidence. You might say Carey Price is garbage in the regular season, and it might be true sometimes, but the team has a lot more confidence when he's in the pipes. We've seen that in the playoffs. We've seen that at points in the regular season, and I feel like for the Montreal Canadiens, it's going to leave a big hole that they obviously have tried to fill, but I don't think are going to be able to for a very long time, if that. And I'm going to say this right now. I think the Montreal Canadiens are going to suck in the first couple of weeks of the season. That's kind of what I predict right now, especially with Cole Caulfield also being a little bit banged up right now, maybe not being truly 100%. Obviously, Hoffman now Carey Price out of the lineup, and Shea Weber, their captain, not being there. They're going to have a little bit of adjustment just for Shea Weber not being there alone, and it's going to take some major momentum for the Habs to get back on the train, get back on the winning in the regular season, and to make the playoffs. It's going to be a hard road, especially after that first month, but I do think they can still make it happen and make the NHL playoffs, but it'll take a lot of play in that second half. But I do think the Habs will struggle for the first little bit. It's just looking like it's going to happen at this point. I mean, the only thing that's missing is like Nick Suzuki being out until January. That's basically what is only the last thing that could happen at this point. It's the only thing that can make it worse. But I do think for Montreal, they still can be a playoff team. But honestly, looking at the competition in the Metro and the Atlantic, being bad for a whole month is not good. It is not a great strategy, especially when you're competing with just the Leafs, Lightning, Bruins, Panthers in your own division, let alone the Metro division, which is extremely close, extremely stacked, and is fighting for every single wildcard spot. It's going to be a tough year right now for the Montreal Canadiens, and I'm not even truly convinced they're a playoff team right now, even though they just made the Stanley Cup final. I think it could be another Dallas Stars situation where the Habs just went to the Stanley Cup final, lost, and then don't make the playoffs the season after. I could see it being kind of the same way where the Stars were terrible to start out because of the COVID situation they had, and then finally in the second half started to get some big wins going, but it wasn't truly enough. I could see that being the case for the Montreal Canadiens. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but especially without Carey Price and even Mike Hoffman and even some of the guys there, I don't know if the Montreal Canadiens are truly strong enough to reach that playoff spot. Now, what I'm predicting for the Montreal Canadiens tandem is pretty much the same that we've seen in the past. I think Jake Allen will be relatively the same as he was last year. He started off great and kind of had a rough little second half. He ended up finishing with a .907 save percentage in 29 games played, but I do see Jake Allen being around a .910, maybe .912 save percentage, around that range. Nothing amazing, nothing special, but he will get the job done when he's in net for the Montreal Canadiens, and especially with Montembeault's as backup, I think the Habs are going to definitely have to rely on him. In terms of the other guy as well on the tandem, Samuel Montembeault, I think he's going to be a very interesting player. Last season, he was mainly playing in the AHL. He played 13 games of an .898 save percentage. He ended up playing 11 games for the Springfield Thunderbirds, where he got a .918 save percentage in 11 games. So he's kind of all over the place. Last time he played an NHL game was with the Panthers in 2020, where he had an .890 save percentage in 14 games played. And I'm just not truly convinced that he's backup quality for the Montreal Canadiens, especially Carey Price is going to be out longer term than we're expecting. I would say Montembeault is going to be around a .985 save percentage, while Jake Allen will have to ride the team as much as humanly possible to get close to a playoff spot. It's definitely not going to be because of Montembeault, and honestly, if they can just sneak out a few wins under Montembeault, it would be an absolute success. But I kind of see it being the same situation as maybe a Michael Hutchinson with the Leafs, where he's just not good enough, but you just hope and pray for any wins possible, even though you know deep down in your hearts, it's just not going to work out. But once again, going to Carey Price, I'm hoping everything is okay with him, everything is good to go, and hopefully with this player assistance program, he's able to get better, back to full health physically and mentally especially, and hopefully will be 100% at some point this season for the Montreal Canadiens. But honestly, if he needs to take a huge amount of time off, that is completely fine. We saw how it affected Jonathan Drouin on this same Montreal Canadiens team, how he needed to take a leave, and it's ultimately paid off for him in a great way off the ice and on the ice too. So I think whatever Carey Price is dealing with, I'm hoping he gets it solved, hoping he gets his help that is truly needed. And I'm again super proud that Carey Price has taken that step forward by himself and made the move to get better. That is the best move he could possibly make, and I'm wishing the best for a legend in Carey Price. But that'll be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this whole Carey Price situation. How do you think the Habs will do without Carey Price? And what do you think of the goalie tandem going forward this season? Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for all the new hockey updates on this channel. And of course, make sure you share this video with your friends. Get the news out there that any hockey fan you may know. And click this card for all of my news content right in one playlist. My name is Nathan. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.